Airtable is a great project management tool, but sometimes it can be hard to discover all of the project management features Airtable has, because in reality, Airtable can be used to build multiple different applications and isn't just solely a project management tool. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to use the right views, how we can template our project creation, and how we can create Airtable interfaces that support our project management processes. Hi, I'm Dan Lehman from AutomationHelpers.com, and we're an Airtable implementation partner. Now, prior to building Automation Helpers, I was running a professional services team at Zoom. And it was really important for me to be able to see multiple projects that my team was managing. And a lot of project management systems don't actually have a really good portfolio view or the idea of being able to see multiple projects at the same time. And this is one of the features that I love most about the Gantt chart view that we have inside of Airtable. So again, a Gantt chart is just another kind of view. We can create it down here by selecting that view. And as I look at this Gantt chart, I'm able to see multiple projects. So I've got two different implementations that are going on. I can, of course, filter these out if I only want to look at one project at a time. But when I'm looking at the big picture of what projects can we take on and resources that we have, who can actually complete the project, I want to be able to see this all-up view. Now, within the Gantt chart, there's a lot of details, and we created a separate dedicated video to everything you need to know about Gantt charts. We'll link to that as well. But here, what I really like is that we can have our different dependencies. We can have milestones. I'm able to color code this by different things. In my case, I like looking at by phase. So you can see how we have different phases of tasks as we go throughout the life cycle of our project. And of course, all of this is drag and droppable. So if I say, ooh, actually, we have to bump this project out by a few days, and so we move our discovery that we have out, that's going to actually shift the dates of that project according to the dependencies that we have. And we're able to click into a task and see information about the predecessors and the successors to that task. Now, a Gantt chart can be really useful if you are a project manager or you're a business owner and you want to be able to see an all-up view. But if you're an individual resource, you might not really care about the big picture and you want to focus on what's on your plate today. That oftentimes happened with my team. I'd have technical resources and they'd say, Dan, what do I need to focus on today? What's my priority? And honestly, I think a Kanban, which is just another kind of view, is one of the easiest views for being able to see what do I need to work on. And we can have this filtered. We can create an individual list. We're saying, hey, show this based on status, or the status is not empty and the assignee is me. Here's my work. We could have different prioritizations on here. And then all I need to do is say, hey, here's what I'm working on. Great. This is in progress now. Now I've finished this task, it's done, and that is a really easy way to be able to get your team onboarded and using the system. Now there's a lot of debate about the best way to implement subtasks for Airtable. I don't really think Airtable has the strongest implementation of subtasks, frankly, because there isn't one. You can do things like you can have some rich text checkboxes in a field and you can check them off, but it's not really connected to anything. There's a few different ways to do it, but I want to show you my favorite way of handling subtasks within the system. So I've actually created a separate table for my subtasks, and I'm using the list view. List view feels something a little bit more akin to Notion, if you've ever used Notion before. And here, if I scroll down, we're looking at, this is a project that I have. So I'm looking at project at my top level. I've got tasks underneath that, and then subtasks underneath that. So what I can do is I can add a new subtask. Here is a subtask, and then fill in any information here, such as dates that I have for this. And this is all configurable, what we want to be able to show. We'll mark this as in progress here. And now I can view my tasks. I can view my subtasks. I can view it in the context of the project and see our project health and the account that it's linked to. So this is how I typically implement subtasks. Again, there's a number of different ways to slice it, but I think that this is pretty easily usable, especially when you have projects that are more detailed. You need to get into that smaller level to be able to have items that people can just check off as they're going about their work. Again, if you'd like to see more details on how to implement this, we have a separate video on building our list views. Airtable forms are a really easy way if you need to do project intake. So maybe you have sales reps who are logging a new project, they're selling something, and then you've got to implement it. You can create your own intake forms and make those external to other people that are outside of the company, outside of your business unit, who need to help create those projects. And you can have automations that run in the background to help you process those projects. Now, Airtable forms are pretty good. They've got some out-of-the-box capabilities to capture information with the fields that you have on your records, and it doesn't take any special syncing or automations to capture that information. But I'd say in about 60% of the projects that we do with clients, we're using a tool called Fillout, which integrates with Airtable and honestly just feels like a great extension of it. We're doing things like if that intake form actually has multiple objects, multiple tables associated with it, maybe you needed to create new contacts who are related to your project at the same time that you're creating the project intake. Those are great use cases that you might want to take a look at Fillout for building that. And we'll also link to a course that we've created. It's an entirely free course about how to use Fillout with Airtable. Now, next, I want to show you a little bit about resource allocation. And this is a little bit buried inside of Airtable. So this is part of the timeline view. That itself is easy enough to find if you press that plus button and create a new timeline. But if you click on this summarize button up at the top, this is where we get to actually choose different ways of summarizing our data, and utilization is one of the ways to summarize it. So if we click on utilization up here, we can say what are the number of hours that a project should take, and we can pull that. So we've got our estimated hours from the project. And then down here, we're actually doing a lookup and saying, hey, where is this information coming from about the types of resources? What I really like here is that you don't have to use the assignee field. This doesn't have to be users of Airtable. You could look at resource allocation, like being individual assets that you might have, or rooms that you're booking in a conference center. There's lots of different ways that we could look at resource allocation, and it's very configurable. In this case, we're accounting for time off, so we're actually using a separate table of people, human resources, that we're booking, and here we can book their time off where they're not available. And then from here, we can color this in different ways. So maybe you have a target utilization. If you're a professional services organization like we are, maybe you say, hey, your target utilization rate is 75%. So if you're around that rate, we want to be able to have a different color for you. If you're way overbooked, we want to be able to see that color differently. And if you're way underbooked, that's no good for us either. So here we can see the different projects that these resources are working on. And above that, we've got our summarization where we can see what percentage utilized we are. In this case, this resource, Diana, is underutilized on these days. We can also see her PTO available here. Dan, myself, I guess I'm in that adequate range for utilization. And then we've got some folks who are above, and we should probably color that differently, but they're above 100%, so they're going to be pretty busy during this time. And we can use this to help us determine, as we have new projects coming in, who we want to assign those projects to. Okay, so we've talked about some of the different views you might want to utilize when it comes to project management, but there's other functions within Airtable as well. So in the older days of Airtable, there was an extension that we could use, which would allow us to create templates for projects. It was very technical, though. You had to say, pick a parent table, and then pick a type table and a template table, and now we got to map all this stuff. And we created a separate video on that. This still comes in handy if you have to do some customization. You can do a little bit of scripting. But by and large, we never use this anymore because there's a new feature under Tools where we can set up record templates. And this comes in really handy if you have projects that are roughly the same from project to project. So you have some kind of implementation, and you do this implementation with multiple clients, or maybe you have 3 tiers of implementation that looks different by company size. You can create these different templates, and in there, we can actually create the linked records for it. We can create some default data, and there's a lot of functionality that goes into this. And here we're saying, for every implementation project, I want you to create these 5 or 6 different tasks that we have here, and everyone is going to look like that. And for each of those tasks, if I click into it, we're going to assign this to the person who's the logged in user who's creating this project. We're going to set that status to do. We're going to put it in a certain phase. And we're actually going to put in start and end dates, which we're going to do dynamically based off of when we're actually clicking the button to create this new project. So now when I have a new project and we want to template that out, all I have to do is press my plus button down here. I can choose from that enterprise project template. That's going to spin through. Look how quick that was in creating it. We've got our implementation project. It's assigned it to us. It's put it in to do. We've got the start date and end date based on our tasks that we have here. And you can see if we pop this open, the different tasks that it has created for us. So this makes our lives so much easier, especially if your projects have that kind of repetition where you want to be able to duplicate those projects and have new tasks created for them each time, but based on a template that you've already created. There is so much we can do with Airtable's interfaces. This really has streamlined so many companies' operations to make it much easier for individual resources. So you don't have to have someone who's always pivoting between Gantt views and the grid views to be able to manage their data. In this case, let's talk about time entry for projects. Well, an older way of doing it would be to say, hey, for every task, you have to log your time. But let's say we don't really care about that. Maybe we want to have a nice time entry view where I can just say, what did I work on for the week? So I've created an Airtable interface here. I'm choosing myself as the team member, and I'm going to create a brand new timesheet. So I'm going to click this button here. And what this automation runs in the background is what we're seeing. It actually is looking at the projects I have assigned to me that are currently open, and it's creating a new timesheet entry for each of those separate projects. Now, I need better naming conventions. I named 2 of them implementation projects here. But in this case now, I can simply go through and put in, hey, I worked 5 hours on this project, and I did 2 hours here. Notice what's happening as it's updating on the sides. I updated 8 hours here, and here I put in 3 hours. And as we're entering all of that information, you can see that it's totaling this up because we're using formulas and automations that can keep all this information up to date. And this is so much easier than many other ways of doing time entry. I can just put it into a grid and I'm good to go. Now I can put comments here if I said, oh, hey, this is a little funky because we did something different this week. We're leaving comments in the record. And then when we're all done with this, we can go ahead and submit that timesheet to our boss so that they can review it. I get that check mark, and this updated our record, and presumably we'd have an automation to then reassign it so we could go through an approval process. Now, if you're interested in these Airtable interfaces and kind of getting started and learning some of the best practices, we've got a separate video on that, so we'll link to it as well. But this is something we also do a lot for clients because we're finding that almost every client wants to build on interfaces that are so much more powerful than just using Airtable without the interface capabilities. I do want to show you a separate example here where now we can say, okay, we did our timesheet entry, but now we want to go ahead and actually invoice the client. So I'm going to wear a separate hat. Now I'm a manager or I'm on the billing side. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose from our accounts that we have here. So I've got Pied Piper, and we're going to create a new invoice. So I'm going to click, and again, this is going to run an automation in the background. Okay, so this time what our automation did was it actually looked for all of the timesheet records that haven't been billed yet already, and it pulled it in. So regardless of our resource or team member, it pulled it in, and now we need to take these and bill our client. So we've got our bill rate that's coming in from our customer account information. This is totaling up all of the hours for our client, and then it's multiplying it across to get that total amount. But the really cool part is we can take this a step further. We don't have to live just within the Airtable ecosystem. We can actually click a button to invoice a client. That's going to fire a webhook, and we're using Make, which is an iPaaS tool like Zapier, to be able to connect to QuickBooks where we actually do our client invoicing. So now instead of having to do duplicate entry and summarize all this information and add all that before we send it on to the client, now we can do that in a couple quick steps where we're simply clicking a button, we're grabbing that information. Maybe we'd add a note or something for the client, but we can click and send that on to our clients in a single step. I hope it was helpful for you to see just how powerful project management in Airtable can be. If you have any questions about getting started with Airtable or getting your project management solution set up, don't hesitate to reach out to automationhelpers.com where we're offering free 30-minute consultations.